This is Bunny Says, and I wanted to welcome you today to a new game. I really enjoy this game. Let's fix the audio a tiny bit. Turn it down just a little bit. Let's go back. Okay. Now, the pronunciation for this game might be... this is going to be a little contentious. The pronunciation is Reus. Now, that's the giant word, the Dutch word for giant. Now, if you haven't heard the introduction, you all know that I speak over 120 different fluent languages. And if you know, this is Dutch, and if you're speaking Dutch and you're saying, "Well, that sounds sort of funny," that doesn't sound like Dutch at all. Well, obviously, I'm speaking High Dutch. This is a language very few people know. But Bunny Says, me. Obviously, I know High Dutch, and you don't. So, let's get into this. This is one of my favorite games. I actually go back to this often. It feels like a simple game. Now, if you didn't listen to the introduction, I just want to tell you real quick. It feels like a simple game, but it unfolds brilliantly. It really encourages you to begin to unlock more and more and more. And you have fun doing it. They're challenging, but not impossible, not difficult. And you begin to unlock it more, and you begin to have greater and greater options as you do so. Now, what is the game about? It's about you have a world, and you have 4 giants: a water giant, a forest giant, swamp, and mountain giant. And they're basically avatars. And they can change the terrain of the world. Now, the world is small, obviously. It's a very small world. And you begin to change the terrain to make more and more resources, so that the villagers that begin to move in can take advantage of those resources and become prosperous. Now, the problem becomes, first of all, you have a certain limited time limit, and it's long. It feels there's a 30-minute, 1 hour, and 2 hour game limit. Now, you think that sounds sort of short, but it's certainly not. It is 2 hours in this game feels like a very long time. Now, the problem is that the villagers begin to build projects, and they want to become more and more prosperous, and sometimes, if you give them too much at once, they start to become greedy, and they want more, and they start demanding more and more of the giants. And at some point, they actually might start to begin to attack the giants, trying to get them to give them more. Or worse, they start attacking villages that are too close by and start going to war with them. And suddenly you have some villages that become incredibly aggressive and start wars with everybody around them. And I don't know how to say it. You have to stop them somehow, slow them down, and the only way to do it is to stop punishing them by causing earthquakes or throwing lava boulders at their town and start destroying stuff and just pacifying them in a certain way. And so it becomes counter to the challenges that you're trying to accomplish. Now, the challenges are things like trying to get so many science points or mineral points or combinations of food and science and that type of thing. And you'll see what's going on. Sometimes the challenges are a village attacks two different, like goes to war with two different villages and is victorious. And you're like, whoa, okay. So you have to sort of pick and choose. And as you finish the accomplishments, you unlock other more and more chances at different resources, which allows you to greatly expand the powers you can do, and the different things you can change, the terrain and stuff like that. So, now, again, I'm going to say this. I picked this up for, I think, $4, and that's like $3 Euro, $4 American. That's like $3 Euro, $2.50 British pounds. And I've played this for, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 hours. So I encourage you on a Steam sale or a GOG sale, at any time, I mean, really, you could pay $3 and get a fantastic game that you could play for 50 or 60 hours. And certainly get a great benefit from it. Now, Reus has made another game. It's published by Abbey Games, and they make sort of, I guess, intellectual games that are puzzling games, but at the same time they're informative. And the different things you unlock different animals and plants and stuff like that, and there are little descriptions that tell you what they are. And I've learned certain things about them, like what some different animals are, and how they operate, and different plants. So it's both informative and educational, and that makes it family friendly, and there's no, other than the villagers attacking other villagers, It really is a family friendly game. Now, I don't always play family friendly games. As I've said, I've played Fallout and Doom and all kinds of other games, and those aren't exactly family friendly. But I enjoy games like this, and I find it, and I know people don't like to say charming, but I find it really adorable and really charming and challenging. So, I certainly wouldn't have played it for 50, 60 hours without enjoying it. So the next time you get a chance and you see it on a Steam sale, give it a shot. Think about it. It's something fun. And now, at first, it starts out slow as you begin to unlock stuff. But as you go through the challenges, it begins to unlock more and more and more, and you can do more and more. And you have a greater and greater freedom. Now, and it makes for a more and more open game. Now, okay, so excuse me. Let's stop talking about it and get right into it. I don't know if you listened to the intro or not, but let's get into it so you can see what's going on. I started the entire game over again, and wiped out all my unlocks. You'll see the unlocks. There's nothing here. They're all grayed out. And I'm going to go through and begin to unlock them again. And you can see how it works. So, at first they start at first star and second star, and the second star are challenging but fairly reasonable. It's the third star challenges that begin to become difficult, and these gold medal ones become really hard. And obviously, as you see, there are a lot of them. You look at the sources, you can see these are the animals and plants that you know of, and remember, they have little descriptions of them, so you have a little educational vibe to it as well. Like, I don't know musk deer and tapir and javelina. I don't know what the difference between a white willow and a aloe vera and date palm. I might know a little bit of stuff, but I don't really know about onyx or whatever. So, and then you get to the next tier, and a wisent. I've never even heard of this animal. Wisent. Marlins, tuna, Gila monster. I don't know about a langur monkey. I don't know what that is, really. Lychee plant. I've heard of it, but I don't really know about it. And then you get into the 3-star area, and there's, cacao tree and cacao tree, and bighorn animals and bobcats and pangolin. I never even heard of that. Obviously, I heard of a panda, but kiwi fruit. I know what kiwi is, but I don't know how it grows and what kind of stuff needs to be near it to help it grow. Ginkgo. I've heard of ginkgo biloba, but so, and then you have projects, and you see the different projects and the various projects that the towns try to accomplish. Taverns, operas, and these begin to become very difficult. They don't just want, for example, a lot of food or a lot of science. They want a mixture of food, science, and whatever, and it becomes very difficult to accomplish them. So it's, in effect, it's a sort of puzzle game as well. Now, I don't want to go too long into this, because I already did it in the intro. So let's start up a new game, and there's a little bit of music in there, and it's fun music. I turned it down really low as background music. I hope it's not too loud. Okay, let's just flat out start a new game, and we have a beginning game. I think this is the tutorial. There's an error level where you can pick 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 120 minutes. And believe me, 120 minutes, 2 hours, begins to seem a long time. Sometimes you actually want it shorter, because you want to finish something real quick, and then not have the villagers suddenly start attacking people. So you want to finish your challenge, and then just have the game end quickly before the village starts going crazy and starts attacking people. Now, you can have free play, where you can play as long as you want and do whatever you want, and that's a good way to practice, to try to set up various the various resources to see what you can get, so what you can maximize and that type of thing. But we're gonna play the game. We're gonna start the beginning game mode. Yeah, I think this is the challenge. The tutorial. So, okay, let's start the tutorial. So, let's just do that. And I'm going to make some of these fires a little bit longer than normal. Maybe an hour long. And we have a little advice here. Planet, you must awaken your slumber. Your surface is dead, and only you have the force to bring life. Okay, let's press the key to start. Now you have an introduction. Now you see this is the planet. Now the planet's not huge, and you only have a certain amount of squares. And each square you could have a certain environment on it. And a village might begin to take up, say, 4 or 5 squares in either direction, the village center. So, you realistically can only have so many villages on a planet, on the surface of the planet. And when they begin to get too close to each other, they don't have to stop bumping into each other. When they get close, they decide to start, attacking each other. So, now let's read the introduction. You have awakened from your slumber. You find your substance dry and barren. It is lifeless. Zoom in and out using the mouse wheel and the arrow keys. Now you can do this. See? You can zoom in with the mouse wheel. And you could tell the various these surface is divided into squares, certain sections. So let's do that. And you can use the left mouse button to click and drag the planet. You can turn the planet around. Now you can make smaller and larger planets. So you can make a planet that only holds like the equivalent of 3 or 4 villages at max. You can also use the arrow keys to move left and right. Okay. Very simple. Using what little strength you have, you create the ocean giant and the rock giant, the instruments of your will. Now, these are your avatars. They appear. This is the water giant. And that's the rock giant. Now, they could do different things. The water giant, for example, could make surfaces turn into water, and the rock giant could make mountains. Okay. So I find very quickly you want to set up a little ocean area, and then you have to have ocean in order to have, for example, next to it, if you want to have grassland, you can't just throw down grassland. You have to have grassland next to a water source. So one of the first things you need to do is put down some water. Okay. Your goal is to have your life form have life from your surface eternally. And to start, you will turn this dry wasteland into a paradise. You can click on a giant or its portrait. So you click there, or click there. In the lower left mouse button to view its ability bar. Now they have different abilities. Like the rock giant can throw rocks, and he can also cause earthquakes, I believe. And he creates mountains. You can click on the giant or its portrait in the lower corner the left mouse button to view the ability bar at the bottom of the screen. You can use the right mouse button to click on a patch of land to order the selected giant to move the rock giant and the ocean giant towards each other. Now I click the rock giant and just, it's very cool. They have, move them towards each other, and it's fun. Okay, I think I'm going to turn some of the audio down. Okay, there we go. That should be better. Okay. You can use the right mouse button to click on a patch of land in order to order the selected giant to move the rock giant, ocean giant towards each other. I did that. Tap spacebar to pause and unpause the game. Now, do remember that there is a time limit to the game, so often when you're not doing something, you hit spacebar to pause. You can still issue actions for your giants while paused. Unpause the game to continue. Now I might want to, for example, move the giants a little bit away from each other. And I press space bar and unpause it, and next thing you know, they're doing their actions. Okay, inquire about the land. You can use the left mouse button to click on a patch of land and view its statistics in the upper right corner of the screen. So, just click here and we can see it say, in the upper right corner here, we can see it says wasteland, dry. And we click anywhere else, and it's right now when your land first starts out, it's just flat out dry wasteland. So it's for you to change it into lush areas. Okay, dry wasteland cannot sustain any life. It must be terraformed in order to become habitable. Use the create ocean ability of the ocean giant on a nearby patch to create an ocean. Okay, I'm going to move him over a little bit because the ocean becomes sort of big. We're going to use his little ocean power. Creating an ocean on a village will destroy it. You have to remember that. So the ocean is pretty large, so we're going to use, you can see the highlighted area will become ocean. So let's do that. Now you see the little ocean start going crazy. I think that's very cool. He makes a little ocean there. He digs down and makes an ocean. Now, the land next to it, you can see here, becomes better land. And then you can see the dry land after it. Now, this is still wasteland, but the land next to the ocean becomes wet wasteland. Now, wet wasteland, obviously has some moisture to it, and you can change it into like forest and stuff like that. So use the ocean giant to create an ocean. I did that. Well done. Oceans are the first step in creating life. You sense something trembling beneath your surface. Okay, here's the forest giant. Now, really, when I first started out, the very first thing I was going to create ocean, because you really can't do anything else without it. So, the little frost giant popped up. Well, he's not little, but select the frost giant. You can also double-click the frost giant's portrait. Again, here in the lower left corner to zoom in on their location. The forest giant flows with life. Its powers will allow it to create lush forests. Use that forest giant to raise a forest. Forests require water from the oceans. See, so you have to start by, if you want a forest. Now here's his forest power. Here, raise forest. And again, it has you can see a various, a highlighted area of where the forest will begin. Now I can do it right about there, and it'll be up to the edge of the water. Now also, just as a hint, you don't have to, the ocean doesn't have to be just that big. I can move the water giant over and make a bigger ocean. I'm not going to do that right now, but okay, let's, for the tutorial here, we're going to make we're going to click on his raise forest ability, the forest giant, and let's do it right. It's right against the water, so we'll abut it to the water, and boom. Now the forest giant, make a lush green forest area. It looks pretty. I mean, look at that. And now from here we could start growing fruit and vegetables and have animals like rabbits and stuff like that in there. Now we're headed back to the rock giant. Again, you could click on the rock giant or click his portrait. Use the rock giant to raise a mountain. Raise a mountain on dry wasteland to become a desert. Now this is wet wasteland, the area next to the water, so we're going to go to the dry wasteland. So let's move him over. Now remember, the giants do have a certain amount of speed. They only go so fast. So if villagers and stuff like that are attacking them, you have to remember that you can't just run off real quick. Okay, let's use his power. He will raise a mountain. And, now let's stay over there. When he raises a mountain, the area to left and right of it become desert. Not necessarily both, but I don't know how far, I don't know how many squares, but I think this is about right, so let's see here. Yeah, yep, it's just about right. I did it right. Now he raises a mountain. Now if you look here, it says mountain patch, and here is desert. It becomes the area to the left and right becomes, unless there's water or something here, or there's wet land, it will become desert. Now the desert holds certain minerals and things, so excellent. Mountains can also cancel out oceans. Now if I want to get rid, again, that's correct. If I want to get rid of an ocean, I could raise up a mountain in the middle of the ocean, and it destroys the ocean, so use all of your abilities to cover at least half the patches in habitable land. Okay, now let's look at the area here. Okay, now I want more greenland here, so I'm going to move the forest giant over here and make some more greenland. And the ocean giant, I'm going to move him over here near the desert, so that to the side of the desert there's another ocean. Now there is also one more avatar, one more giant, Reus, No, no. Keep going. And that is the swamp giant. And the swamp giant brings up, obviously a swamp, and you want the swamp next to the wetlands. Like, this would be a perfect place for a swamp. Now, the swamp gives you various science points and science things, along with some other various vegetation. Okay, we're getting on 30 minutes, but I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna go on, I think, for an hour. Okay, let's make my forest giant make another forest here. It's just perfect. It's the ocean, and abuts the desert, so that's perfect. Okay. No? What's going on? We're zooming in on the giants and the... Oh, there's the rock giant. Well done, you have accomplished your goal. You have learned to create oceans, forests, mountains, and deserts. You hope the life blooming from your lands will remain where you slumber. Click to continue and view all your achievement developments during the game. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I forgot this is a tutorial, so